Good day and welcome to the first of our series of different tallows and a lard as well. We're going to see how they're going to compare with one another. This all started with a gift that I've received from Marine. She made tallow, or she renders tallow and sells it. Now for some reason I can't get the color right here. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so we've got some sheep tallow and we've got some beef tallow here, and we're going to compare the two to one another. And I decided to render some pork lard as well, so we're going to add lard into this. Now the first video is going to be all about emulsified body butter. So I'm going to make emulsified body butter. The recipe that we're going to use is going to be as plain and simple as you can get. I'm going to use distilled water in my water phase, and then I'm going to use 40% tallow, either sheep tallow, beef tallow or lard, so it's going to be 40% right through the bank. I'm going to use 12% of emulsifying wax NF. I'm not going to add any thickeners like cetyl alcohol or cetearyl alcohol to this one, because we want to really experience what each one of these fats brings to the table. So I'm not going to add any humectants. There's so many things that I wanted to put in here, but we're going to do it plain and simple. So I will leave the formulation, the recipe in the description box as well. So you can check it out, see what I've done here. And what I've decided to do is, because I tend to lose track of things, I'm gonna do different colors. So for the beef, I have decided on yellow with lemongrass essential oil. Then for the sheep tallow, I am going to use pink, and I'm going to use rose geranium for the sheep tallow. And then for the pork, I'm going to use purple, and I'm going to use some lavender essential oil. So that's just going to make it easier for me to just keep my head together and know that I'm not going to mix them up. So I am not going to go into depth on how to make emulsified body butter in this video. I think I will do a time lapse until where I am done, so that you can roughly see what I've done. But this is not a tutorial how to make body butters. This is just to find out the different feels and so on. So okay, first things first, I'm just going to start with opening up these guys. Do I have a scissor? I do not have my multi-tool with me. I've got my trusted little blade thingy here. So first things first, I'm going to open up the beef tallow here. And I must say, there is a very, very faint beefy smell to it, but like in really, and you must remember this was now closed up as well, so I think if you open it up a little bit, you're not going to smell much of it. This is something that I see on the groups as well, people complaining that beef tallow smells like beef. Olive oil smells like olive, and coconut oil, if it's not deodorized, it smells very much like coconut oil. So beef is supposed to smell like something. It's not a deodorized product, so it is natural to smell something, but it is not that barbecue Sunday braai smell that comes through. It's very, very faint. So and this is a nice butter color. I know it's grass-fed. Both the beef tallow and the sheep tallow both are grass-fed tallows that she sent me. So okay, this first things first, and then if I press on it, it is firm. Let me just see if I've got it in. Can't really see it very well on here. I think it's because of my exposure. Let's see. Okay, if I press with my finger on it, it is very firm. It breaks easily, but it's not so hard that you can't press your finger into it. So this is my experience on this one. Let's see with the sheep tallow. Now sheep tallow is brand new to me. This is the first time I'm going to smell it. I don't even eat sheep. For some reason I just don't like the taste of it. I can't say, it definitely doesn't have a stronger smell to it. It's slightly different. For some reason, I think it's a little bit softer in a fragrance. It's not less, it's just, it's a little bit different. But it's softer, maybe even a little bit less, but it's not much. Now the same here, if I have to, I think the beef tallow is a little bit more firm. If I'm going to come over to this one, for me it's as if it's still a firm tallow, but it's a little bit softer than the beef tallow. So this is the first things that I actually can say that's different, although it's not much. And then, okay, obviously the lard that I rendered myself, lard is very soft. You can't even compare it to the other two of them. At room temperature, it is actually quite squishy. It smells a little bit more bacony than those two. So the smell is a bit more intense, not really intense, but it does smell a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna carry on, and I'm gonna start with my body butter here, and then I will be back with you when I'm done, and then we can do a comparison between the three of them and see what I'm gonna look for is how thick the body butter itself is, because different viscosities in oils do influence the thickness of our body butters. And then I'm going to see how fast they are absorbing into the skin feel of it, and if there is any smell that's going to come through. Although I think I'm going to hold off with the essential oils, first smell them and see if I can see any difference between them, or can smell any difference between them. And then I will add the essential oils as well. But I must tell you, do not trust my nose. I had COVID about 2 years ago, and since then, the one day, it's like my sense of smell is like an extremely heightened. Everything is overwhelming, and then the next moment, I will take essential oil and think, this stuff evaporated. Even though it can't, it's just, it smells like nothing. So, but at least three after one another, I should at least be able to tell you if there's differences, but you might experience it differently than me. Okay, so let me start on with this, guys, and start making some body butters. Okay, let's try this voiceover thing here. Okay, first things first, just quickly netting up all of these here, submitting them or getting them into submission because it's all over the place. Especially my face. So, okay, first things up, we're going to do distilled water. So the distilled water is going to be 71.5%. It's the same with grams. If you make a 100-gram batch, it's going to be 71.5 grams. Next up is our emulsifying wax NF, 6%. So emulsifying wax NF is a nice stable wax. It's easy to work with, and you can get it in most countries. Okay, then the different kind of tallows. This one is the beef tallow. Then I am going to weigh out the sheep tallow as well, and then add them also to the pot and the lard. So this is our heated oil phase. The heated oil phase, we're going to just heat it a little bit in gentle heating water there until everything is melted and the same temperature throughout. Okay, just adding the sheep tallow here. Okay, while they are melting there in the corner, I am measuring out the cool down phase ingredients here, which is going to be the vitamin E oil, preservative, and then the essential oil as well. Okay, the preservative I'm using here is 1%. It's a Uxel PE 9010. It's a nice broad spectrum preservative. It works quite nicely here. Then the vitamin E oil is going to be 0.5% or 0.5 grams. They take a while to just drop in there. It's a little bit more syrupy, and yeah, takes the time to get them all ready. Okay, then the essential oil is going to be 1% as well, or 1 gram per batch. So we are going to do the lemongrass essential oil, rose geranium essential oil, and then some lavender essential oil as well. Okay, here we're just adding the oil phase, the heated water phase, rinse it a bit and pour it together. Okay, first up is the lard. When I opened up the bottle, it smelled very much bacony. Mixed with water, not as much anymore, so we will see where this is going to go. But I'm not sure if I really would like to make cream with lard. For some reason, I think it's a mental block that I've got about it. I decided to try lard while we're busy with all of these things, but I must say, I can't really say that I'm a fan of it. But it actually surprised me because I really thought, you know what, this is going to stink to high heavens. I don't know if my COVID switched off between when I opened the bottle first and now, but it's much better already. So I'm just going to let these guys cool down a little bit before I'm going to stick blend it and to get it to emulsification. So I'm still waiting for the others to actually just melt down completely. But same thing with this, I will mix them and then, it's actually the end product eventually that's going to make a difference. So let's see where this is going to go. But this one already quite a surprise. Okay, next up is a beef tallow that I just mixed together. I must say there's no beefy smell really in here. Although the pork also not really at all, so but there's definitely a color distinction between the two of them. The lard much whiter than the beef one, but I haven't stick blended it yet. Usually when you stick blend it, then it really goes lighter and whiter, so the end product might not be really significantly lighter here, but it's just as I'm mixing it, I can see there's a little bit of a difference here. It is a very interesting fragrance. It is faint, but it is completely different from lard and beef tallow. It smells familiar, but I can't really put my finger to it. So the moment when I get it, I will tell you what it smells like. But it's not unpleasant at all. But it is definitely different from beef tallow. But I'm used to working with beef tallow, so that's maybe why maybe it's just the difference. Okay, color-wise, I think it's very similar to the lard. Both of them are very white in appearance. The beef tallow, buttery. The camera is not really picking it up that well. And then on this side, this one is a little bit more buttery. So there is a definite distinctive difference between them. I'm mixing them up on the table now. I need to concentrate. Okay, I'm just going to start stick blending them, get them to emulsification and see where we're going to go from there on. Okay, something that's quite interesting is I started with the lard first. All of them went into the water at the same time. All of them came to the same temperature. And I mixed the lard first, so it actually came off the heat first. And should have, this one will be cooler than the rest. And the tallow has already come to trace. It's already thick and nice and buttery. So it's interesting to see that it's the beef tallow. The beef tallow is already nice, creamy, lovely. So don't know why this one is setting up faster. I don't know if it's got more stearic acid maybe in it or something like that. That I must actually go and check out for you guys. But yeah, the beef tallow is already a nice thick butter. So let's see. We give the other two a little bit time just to cool off, and then when all of them is cooled off, then we will compare them properly. I think what I'm going to do is, before I add the preservative and the fragrance oil, because I mixed those two already, that was a good idea, that should have stayed an idea. because what I actually want to do is to take samples of each one of them, and then Maureen, I'm going to send them back to you so that you can compare all of them fragrance wise or flavor wise as well. And I will send you a sample with the fragrance oil in as well, because if I add the fragrance oils now, then you can't actually distinguish between them. So, but anyhow, I will definitely send you some samples to try it yourself as well. Okay, we are nearing the end, it seems like. Everything is starting to set up nicely. They are not cooled off completely. I must say it's nearly room temperature on some of them. The sheep tallow came off the heat last, so it's a little bit warmer than the rest. So I'm not going to compare them immediately. But I must say this was quite a challenge. I just want to share this with you guys. Because I prepared, I planned, I got everything ready. And then halfway through a video, then you realize, I don't know where my spatulas are. I still don't know where they are. I've got two of my old ones that was actually retired. I didn't realize that one stick blender with 3 different formulations right next to one another is going to be quite a challenge. So yeah, you have to think on your feet, quickly organize some warm water to rinse it off in between. If the stuff happened that looked unhygienic, it was most probably all because this is not the way that you work when you do or you make a specific product, because then you set everything out. You have standard working procedures that you follow it step by step. Yeah, and you don't have to share utensils between different formulations. So yeah, things became a little bit hectic around here. So, but I must say it was quite fun. So far, I've learned a lot today. I really did learn a lot today. If nothing about tallow, about recording as well. The other thing is I first had my second camera in the doorway. And when I went to search for my spatulas, I realized I kind of locked myself in here. So that was fun as well. So anyway, okay, let's see. Smell wise, while they are lukewarm, I think the fragrance is gonna be a little bit more pronounced. So this one is the Lord one first. Can't detect any smell in this, and it actually started out quite bacony. The clean, clear Lord, even cold out of the fridge, I could smell the bacon in it. But I must say I did render it and lost patience and gave it a little bit more heat. So I think you can actually render it without, okay, even less smelly. Anyhow, even with the smelly Lord, the cream doesn't smell anything like it. And there's no fragrance oil in here yet. But I can't really detect anything there. The sheep tallow, I don't know, you know warm linen that comes out of a tumble dryer? For some reason, it reminds me of something about that. There is a fragrance. It's very faint, but this is now still warm as well. But I can't really. It doesn't smell bad at all, not at all. But it's a very distinct, faint, distinct fragrance. I don't know how to put smells into words. This is a new one for me as well today, hey? The beef tallow, like olive oil, faint, but it doesn't smell beefy. With in the emulsified body butter, I can't really say that it smells beefy to me, but it's not without fragrance. It's not a deodorized kind of product. There is something there, although it's very faint. There is definitely still something there. So I must say, all of them actually work equally easy. They emulsified beautiful. This is the same recipe that we started with. So it's the same amount of water, same amount of emulsifying wax, everything in here. So I just gonna let them cool down completely. Then we will test it thickness wise to see if there's something, if we can actually distinguish between them. And then I will add the fragrances and package them up and take a few photos for you guys. So Yeah, so far I must say, I think my favorites will still be between the two tallows. I don't know, tallow is just one of those things that I do like a lot. Lord, I'm not really opposed to it, but as I say, I think it's more like a mental block upon it or on it. I don't know. Although I do make crocodile oil salve as well and balms. So crocodile oil is one of the things that I do use that I think is actually maybe quite similar to lard. Texture wise, melting point wise. Although crocodile oil, even if you overheat it a bit, I think it's got a higher smoking point maybe. Crocodile oil doesn't really have a smell. It's very, very faintly, even if you overheat it a bit. So I think that might be why I don't mind it. With this, I know what it smelled like in the beginning. I know what I started with, and I think that might be a mental block thing. And I was also saying, lard, extremely expensive here in South Africa. I don't know in other countries. Tallow, much more affordable. If I go and I buy raw beef fat, then I will pay around about... let's say, okay, it depends on where you buy in South Africa. One of the butchers that I go to, I can buy it for around about 15 rand. So it's 15 rand. If I have to buy lard, or not lard, pork fat, if I go buy pork fat, I paid for this, I think, 50 rand. It's 50 rand per kilo. So from 15 to 50 is quite a huge difference. So it's not something that I'm going to use because I love my tallow in anyhow. So the lard is just not cost effective for me. I don't mind. There's nothing that's special about it, if I can say it like that. There's nothing that's going to convince me, you know what, pay more and get a better product. It's not for me a better product. I think it's very similar. The main question today is going to be between the sheep tallow and the beef tallow, because those two are more affordable here. Although sheep tallow is a little bit more expensive, it might be a little bit more luxurious. I'm not sure yet, so let's see when it's cooled down. Okay, and I am back. It is evening now. I had to re-record this last bit because I made a few new mistakes. First things were that I realized I did not have a smell vocabulary, and I didn't have a feel vocabulary to properly explain to you what I experienced with these things. So I had to go sit down and try to figure out how I'm going to explain it in words, and I still don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to give my best. Okay, first things first. Okay, another mistake that I've made is I've put all three of them on the same arm, and I realized I ran out of skin because they were overlapping and so on. But yeah, let's go to the table. So what I've got here is our this one was our beef tallow, and it is much stiffer. You can see it's holding its shape very nicely if you lift it up. Interestingly, our sheep tallow, it holds its shape a bit, but then it starts to move flat. So it's a little bit softer than the beef tallow. And then we've got the lard that also actually holds its shape quite a bit. So the interesting thing is I had to go and figure out why was the sheep tallow the softest one between all of them. And I know a lot about soap making. Soap making stuff I do understand, but cream and so on is quite a bit new to me, or it's much newer to me. It's not really new, but I don't know as much about cream and making of creams and so on than what I do know about soap making. But when I went back and I looked at the fatty acids in these three different ones, I realized, okay, you know what, there's actually a correlation there that I actually sort of discovered for myself today. I don't think it's any new news. But, okay, let me just quickly read for you. With lard, we've got stearic and palmitic acids are the two fatty acids in soap that actually harden soap and increases the longevity. So I thought, okay, let's go and look at those as well in cream, because I believe those are the ones that actually will have quite an influence on the consistency. So with the lard, if you add the stearic and the palmitic together, then you've got 41% of the fatty acids are stearic or palmitic. With beef, we've got a total of 50%, and then with sheep, we only have 37%. So it's not huge differences, because from sheep to lard, it's 37 to 41, and then from 41 to 50. 41 to 50 is quite a bit of a difference, but they're not that different, but apparently it does make a difference here. Okay, let me just quickly get some testing skin here. Now, first things first, with the, okay, I'm going to leave the lard for last, because I've already tested them. I know what's going on here, but I will share it with you guys as well. So I'm going to do the tallow on this side. And it is actually quite smooth and creamy. For me, the tallow, I'm so used to beef tallow, sorry, the beef tallow is for me quite creamy when you apply it to your skin. I've got a huge amount now, yeah. Okay, but anyhow, it applies lovely. It absorbs actually quite fast. So there we go, it's already absorbed here. And it does feel a little bit oily because I didn't use any cetyl alcohol or stearyl alcohol in it. Those two are fatty alcohols that gives a lovely skin feel. It's emollients as well, so it does contribute a little bit to the skin, but that is what makes your cream feel kind of powdery and not as oily. So it's not really fatty, it absorbs quite quickly, but I can feel there's a difference between when I would have used a thickener like cetyl alcohol in it. Okay, so then we're going to do the sheep tallow on the other side. There we go. And it feels thinner. And okay, it is a little bit thinner, and it actually absorbs, I think, a little bit faster. So this is a very nice thing for cream for most people, because there's many people like I don't like stuff that is sticky and hang around too long. Okay, this side already absorbed, it's not fatty anymore, doesn't feel oily. This one not very far behind, so it does absorb a little bit faster than the beef tallow. Then with the lard made a nice cream here. Okay, first things, okay, last, I'm going to first show you how it absorbs here. I don't really have that much skin left here. Also absorbs quite quickly, but on my hands it feels more oily than the other two. I don't really know why it is, because the stearic and palmitic acids and so on are very close to, especially to the sheep tallow, but it does feel more oily. Definitely, it's something that you actually really can experience. It's not just slightly. Okay, now the other thing is, what does it smell like? If I smell it in the container, then beef tallow, very faint. There is a smell, as I say, it's not a deodorized product, so it's supposed to smell like something, but it is definitely not unpleasant. But there is some fragrance in there, very vaguely. Then with the sheep tallow, this one is for me a slight bit more pronounced, but when I say a slight bit, it's like in really a little bit. I'm focusing on this now, so that's why I pick it up. If I didn't focus on it, I think I would have missed it completely. Now, interestingly, I think I mentioned earlier that with the sheep tallow, it reminds me of a laundry out of a tumble dryer. There's a very distinct smell on that. Now, this triggers a memory on that, but also very, very, very faint. As I say, if I did not focus on it, I would not have picked it up. So it's just this one is a little bit smoother. I don't know, this one is for me, the beef tallow, it's more creamy, and this one is for me more silky, if I have to describe it in two different ways. But the sheep tallow, definitely a thinner product, absorbs quicker. Then with the lard, in the tub, I don't smell the lard, I don't smell bacon. But the moment when you start to heat it up on your, I think it's because of your body heat, it smells like bacon. And I even put in some essential oil in a little bit of it, and it's a little bit like when you go to the bathroom, the toilet, people spray air spray there, and you can still smell the fart and air spray. It's not like the air spray is taking that smell away. No, it's the same with this. You do smell the bacon in there. It's bacon and lavender now, but it's definitely not just lavender. The bacon is coming through. So I will definitely not use lard for a skin cream. It absorbs very nicely. Now that's a bit lighter. I must say my skin feels absolutely amazing with all three of them. But yeah, lard is not going to be my one. So, okay, I hope this is going to give you a little bit of idea about the three of them, especially between the beef tallow and the sheep tallow. Both of them lovely fats to work with. Little bit of a difference in fragrance, but really not much. It's not really distinctive. You can't really smell a lot of it. The sheep tallow does give you a little bit of a lighter cream, a faster absorbing cream. So yeah, that's about all of it. So I hope this is going to help you to make decisions on it, and I will see you in the next video again. We're still going to do balms, and we're still going to do soaps with them as well. So I'm going to give you feedback and tell you how that went. Okay, so you must have a lovely evening, and stay safe, and I will see you soon again.